Mr. Lee has attended an urgent customer meeting in Hong Kong. As he arrives back in Singapore Airport, he remembers that he will need to carry excess baggage on his upcoming trip to Sydney. He decides to stop by the airline's customer service desk to see if they can help him. He explains to the airline staff that he has already booked a flight to Sydney the following week, but that he needs to request excess baggage allowance. The airline assistant asks if Mr. Lee has his booking reference number with him. Mr. Lee frowns and tells the agent that he doesn't have the number with him. Usually Susie keeps record of all his travel details. Then suddenly he remembers that Susie has sent him a link to the Amadeus Check My Trip site, where all the information about his booking is recorded. He checks the online record on his BlackBerry and gives the reference number to the airline assistant. The airline assistant enters the reference number into her computer and retrieves Mr. Lee's itinerary instantly. She confirms that he is booked to travel to Sydney on the 14th. Mr. Lee asks the airline assistant if it would be possible to carry an additional 10 kilograms of luggage on top of his usual 30 kilograms. The airline assistant sees that Mr. Lee is a gold member, which entitles him to 30 kilograms of luggage allowance. She informs Mr. Lee he is welcome to carry another 10 kilograms at a nominal cost. Mr. Lee agrees, and the airline assistant processes his payment, then provides him with an electronic miscellaneous document to show upon check-in for the flight. Mr. Lee thanks the assistant and thinks to himself how easy that change had been. He set off to catch a taxi home. A week later, the day before his flight to Sydney, Mr. Lee calls Susie to let her know about the baggage change. Susie thinks to herself that she should let Michael at Sunshine Travel know about the change and calls him right away so there is no confusion. Susie explains to Michael that Mr. Lee has already spoken to the airline directly and paid for the additional baggage allowance. Michael pulls up Mr. Lee's booking on his screen. Since his agency is using Amadeus and so is the airline, Michael can access the same passenger name record and view all the information about his booking. Michael is able to see that the airline has processed Mr. Lee's extra baggage request and issued the electronic miscellaneous document. He reads this information back to Susie to confirm that the information is already recorded in his system. Surprised, Susie thanks Michael for his help and hangs up the phone, thinking to herself how much easier this booking process is compared to what she had experienced in the past.